You're standing in a coffee shop. The line is long. You're checking your phone, shifting your weight from one foot to the other. Someone walks in behind you. You don't turn around. You don't even notice them. But they notice you. In the time it takes you to glance at the menu board, in those 7 fleeting seconds before you even register their presence, they've already made their assessment. They know things about you. Things you don't even know about yourself. They've identified your weaknesses, catalogued your fears, and determined whether you're worth their time. This isn't paranoia. This is psychology. This is how predators think. And right now, as you listen to this, someone in your life has already done this to you. The human brain processes an enormous amount of information in microseconds. But most of us, we're not paying attention. We're distracted, trusting, caught up in our own thoughts. We assume people see what we want them to see. We believe in the masks we wear. But there are people walking among us who see through everything. They don't think like you do. They don't feel like you do. And in 7 seconds, they can read you like a book you didn't know you'd written. This is about survival. This is about understanding that not everyone looking at you is seeing a person. Some are seeing an opportunity. Some are seeing a target. Some are seeing exactly how to get what they want from you. And it starts in 7 seconds. I've spent years studying the psychology of manipulation, diving deep into forensic psychology, analyzing case files, interviewing victims, and understanding the patterns that emerge when someone with a dark personality enters your life. And here's what I've learned. The most dangerous people aren't the ones who seem dangerous. They're the ones who seem charming, confident, interested in you. They're the ones who make you feel seen. Because they do see you. They see everything. And they're using it against you before you even realize the game has started. Let me tell you about Sarah. She met him at a networking event. Successful guy, well-dressed, confident smile. Within seconds of their conversation, he asked her about the book she was carrying. She was impressed. How did he notice that small detail? What she didn't realize was that he'd noticed everything. The way she stood slightly apart from the crowd. The way her eyes scanned the room looking for someone she knew. The slight tension in her shoulders. The expensive purse but the worn shoes. The wedding ring she kept touching like it was a reminder of something. In 7 seconds, he knew she was isolated, insecure, seeking connection, maintaining appearances, and uncertain about her marriage. He knew exactly which buttons to push. 6 months later, she'd given him $50,000 for a business opportunity that never existed. When she finally went to the police, when they asked her how she could have missed the red flags, she said something that still haunts me. She said, "He understood me. From the very first moment, he just understood me." He did understand her. That was the weapon. Your mind is not entirely your own. Think about the last time you met someone new. What did you notice about them? Their smile maybe. Whether they seemed friendly. Whether you liked them. Now flip it. What were they noticing about you? Most people, they're focused on making a good impression. They're worried about how they're coming across. But psychopaths, people with dark personality traits, they're not worried about your opinion of them. They're studying you. They're running a rapid-fire assessment that most of us don't even know is possible. And they're looking for specific things. 7 things, to be exact. 7 signals that tell them everything they need to know about whether you're the right target for what they want. The first thing they notice is your boundary signal. This happens in an instant. Do you make eye contact and hold it, or do you look away? When someone enters your personal space, do you subtly step back, or do you freeze? Do you say no easily, or do you smile and accommodate even when you're uncomfortable? Psychopaths can read this in your body language before you've even spoken. They're looking for what I call permeability. How easy will it be to get past your defenses? Because people with weak boundaries, people who can't say no, people who prioritize being liked over being respected, they're easy targets. They can be manipulated through guilt, through charm, through perceived authority. A psychopath sees weak boundaries and thinks, this one will give me what I want if I just apply the right pressure. Marcus learned this the hard way. He was a middle manager at a tech company. Good guy. Everyone liked him. New executive joins the team, charismatic, impressive resume. In their first brief interaction in the hallway, The executive asks Marcus to grab him a coffee, frames it as, "I'd love to catch up, mind grabbing us both something?" Marcus agrees immediately, doesn't even hesitate. Why would he? It seems friendly. But what Marcus didn't see was the test. The executive watched how quickly Marcus said yes. Watched how he didn't suggest meeting later when it was more convenient. Watched how Marcus' body language shifted into accommodation mode. 7 seconds. That's all it took to identify Marcus as someone who couldn't set boundaries. Over the next year, the executive systematically took credit for Marcus' work, volunteered him for impossible deadlines, and when Marcus finally snapped, made him look like the problem. Everyone was shocked. Marcus was so reliable, so easy to work with. Exactly. That was the vulnerability. The second thing they notice is your emotional reactivity. How do you respond to unexpected stimulus? If someone says something mildly challenging, do you tense up? Do you rush to explain yourself? Do you laugh nervously? Or do you remain calm and composed? Psychopaths are watching for emotional volatility because it gives them leverage. If they can make you feel something, anything, strongly and quickly, they can control you. They're looking for the people who wear their emotions on their face, whose mood can be shifted with a few words, who can be thrown off balance with a raised eyebrow or a moment of silence. Because those people can be manipulated through their feelings. You can make them angry, then apologize and watch them forgive. You can make them feel guilty, then offer relief and watch them comply. Emotional reactivity is a handle, and they're checking to see if you have one they can grab. There's a woman named Jennifer who still doesn't sleep well at night. She met someone at a friend's dinner party. Seemed nice enough. But early in the conversation, he made a comment about her job that was just slightly insulting, wrapped in humor. Jennifer felt herself flush, felt that spike of embarrassment and the rush to defend herself. She laughed it off, explained her position, tried to smooth it over. What she didn't realize was that he'd just learned everything he needed to know. He could trigger her emotions easily. The rest of the evening he ran experiments. A compliment, then a subtle dig. Warmth, then coldness. Jennifer found herself drawn to him, confused by him, wanting his approval. By the end of the night, she'd agreed to meet him for coffee, not because she was interested, but because she needed to fix whatever had gone wrong. That's emotional manipulation. And it started with a 7-second test to see if she was reactive. The relationship that followed was 18 months of psychological warfare that left her questioning her own sanity. When it ended, when she finally escaped, she realized that every time she'd reacted emotionally, he'd used it. Every time she'd shown him what hurt her, he'd filed it away. Every time she'd revealed a weakness, he'd later weaponized it. Your mind is not entirely your own. The third thing they notice is your confidence level. Not the fake confidence, not the performance you put on. The real confidence that comes from knowing your worth. They can see it in how you carry yourself, how you occupy space, how you speak. Real confidence is threatening to predators because confident people are hard to manipulate. They don't seek external validation. They trust their own perception of reality. They don't need to be liked by everyone. So psychopaths are scanning for the opposite. They're looking for people who second-guess themselves. People who apologize unnecessarily. People who shrink themselves to make others comfortable. People who need reassurance. Because those people can be controlled through validation. You give them a little approval, they'll do anything to keep it. You withdraw that approval, they'll do anything to get it back. It's a pattern called intermittent reinforcement, and it's as addictive as any drug. David was a successful attorney. On the surface, confident, accomplished, respected. But in those first 7 seconds of meeting his new girlfriend, she saw something he'd hidden from everyone else. She saw that he touched his wedding ring compulsively, a tell that he was thinking about his recent divorce. She saw how his smile didn't quite reach his eyes when he talked about his career. She saw the slight slump in his shoulders when he thought no one was watching. She saw a man who was performing confidence but drowning in self-doubt. And she used it. The relationship started with love bombing, that overwhelming rush of attention and affection that makes you feel like you've finally found someone who gets you. Then came the withdrawal. Suddenly she was distant, critical, comparing him to other men. David, this accomplished attorney who argued cases in front of judges, found himself desperate for her approval. Found himself changing everything about himself to make her happy. Found himself believing her when she said he was lucky she stayed despite his flaws. The pattern continued. Love, withdrawal, love, withdrawal. He became addicted to the high of her approval and terrified of the low of her rejection. By the time he realized what was happening, he'd isolated himself from friends, neglected his career, and lost himself completely. And it all started because in 7 seconds, she'd seen through his performance to the insecurity beneath. The fourth thing they notice is your support system. This one's subtle, but psychopaths are remarkably observant. They watch how you interact with others in social settings. Do you have people who check on you? Do you mention friends, family, people who know you well? Or are you alone, new to town, going through a transition, isolated for any reason? Because isolation is a manipulator's best friend. If you don't have people around you who can offer perspective, who can point out when something's wrong, who can see the changes in you, you're vulnerable. Predators actively seek out people who are disconnected. They look for the person standing alone at the party, the person who moved for a new job, the person whose family lives far away, the person going through a breakup or dealing with loss. Not out of compassion, but out of strategy. Isolated people are easier to control because there's no one to contradict the manipulator's version of reality. There's a man named Robert who wishes he'd understood this earlier. He'd just relocated for work, didn't know anyone in the new city yet. His new colleague seemed friendly, invited him out, introduced him around. In their first conversation, the colleague asked about Robert's family, his friends back home, whether he knew anyone in the area. Just friendly questions, right? But what the colleague was really doing was assessing Robert's level of isolation. When Robert mentioned he was on his own, still getting settled, the colleague's eyes lit up for just a fraction of a second. Robert didn't catch it. Over the next months, the colleague became Robert's whole social world. His only friend, his guide to the city, his confidant. And slowly, systematically, the colleague started borrowing money, asking for favors, creating drama that required Robert's constant attention and support. When Robert started to push back, the colleague reminded him, "I'm all you've got here. Everyone else thinks you're the weird new guy. I'm the only one who gave you a chance." It was a lie, but Robert believed it because he was isolated, because he had no other perspective, because his manipulator had identified that vulnerability in 7 seconds and built a trap around it. Your mind is not entirely your own. The fifth thing they notice is your need for approval. We all want to be liked to some degree. That's human. But some people, they need it. They need validation like they need oxygen. They shape themselves to fit what others want. They can't tolerate being disliked, being judged, being left out. Psychopaths can smell this desperation. They see it in how eagerly you agree, how quickly you laugh at jokes that aren't funny, how you mirror other people's energy even when it doesn't match your own. They see it in the way you defer to others, the way you seek confirmation before stating an opinion, the way you apologize for taking up space. And they know that if you need approval that badly, they can use it. They can make you perform for their validation. They can withhold it to punish you. They can dangle it like a carrot to make you do things you'd never normally do. Your need becomes their leverage. Emma was a talented graphic designer. Creative, hardworking, good at what she did. But she had this deep need to be liked by everyone. Her new client picked up on it instantly. In their first meeting, the client listened to Emma pitch her ideas, watched how Emma's eyes scanned his face for approval, how she adjusted her presentation based on his micro-expressions, how relieved she looked when he finally smiled. 7 seconds into her pitch, he knew he could exploit this. The project that followed was a nightmare. The client kept changing requirements, rejecting work, being vaguely disappointed without explaining why. And Emma, desperate for his approval, worked herself into the ground trying to please him. Free revisions, extra work, hours beyond the contract. She couldn't stand the idea that he might be unsatisfied, that he might leave a bad review, that he might tell other people she wasn't good enough. He never paid her fairly. He never intended to. He'd identified someone whose need for approval outweighed her self-respect, and he used her until she burned out. When she finally refused to do more free work, he left a scathing review anyway. Emma had given everything to avoid the disapproval, and she got it anyway. That's the trap. The approval you're chasing from a manipulator will never come, not permanently, because keeping you insecure is how they keep you compliant. The sixth thing they notice is your guilt threshold. How easily can they make you feel responsible for their emotions, their problems, their behavior? Some people, they have a natural tendency to take on blame. They apologize reflexively. They feel guilty for things that aren't their fault. They were raised to prioritize others' feelings over their own. They believe that if someone's upset, it's their job to fix it. Psychopaths test this immediately. They might make a comment about being tired, see if you offer to help. They might mention a problem, see if you volunteer a solution. They might express disappointment, see if you scramble to make it better. If you take responsibility for their feelings in those first 7 seconds, they know they can manipulate you through guilt for as long as they want. There's a woman named Lisa who spent 3 years trapped in a friendship that was slowly destroying her. She met her friend at a community group. The friend seemed wonderful at first, warm and enthusiastic. But in their very first conversation, the friend mentioned feeling left out of her previous friend group. Lisa immediately felt bad for her, immediately wanted to make her feel included and valued. That response, that instant rush of responsibility for a stranger's emotional state, that told the friend everything she needed to know. Over the years that followed, the friend used guilt like a weapon. If Lisa couldn't drop everything to help, the friend would go silent, then later mention feeling abandoned. If Lisa set a boundary, the friend would cry about not being a good enough friend. If Lisa spent time with other people, the friend would say she felt replaced. And every single time, Lisa would feel crushing guilt. She'd apologize. She'd overcompensate. She'd sacrifice her own needs to prove she cared. The manipulation was so effective because it was built on Lisa's own values, her own empathy, her own sense of responsibility. The friend hadn't created the guilt threshold. She just noticed it in 7 seconds and exploited it for 3 years. Your mind is not entirely your own. The seventh thing they notice, and this is perhaps the most important, is your reality confidence. Do you trust your own perception of reality, or can you be made to doubt it? When something doesn't add up, do you trust your gut, or do you rationalize it away? When someone contradicts your memory of events, do you stand firm, or do you second-guess yourself? This is what psychopaths are really looking for. Someone whose reality can be bent. Someone who can be gaslit. They test this subtly in those first moments. They might misremember something you just said and state it confidently. They might contradict an obvious fact and see if you correct them or go along with it. They might tell a story that doesn't quite make sense and watch whether you question it or accept it. If you're someone who doubts yourself easily, who thinks you might be misremembering, who gives others the benefit of the doubt even when your instincts scream that something's wrong, you're exactly who they're looking for. Michael met someone who changed his life, and not in a good way. It started so small he didn't even notice. They were in a group setting, multiple people present. The manipulator told a story about something that had happened earlier that day. But Michael had been there. He knew the story wasn't accurate. Several details were wrong. But when Michael gently pointed this out, the manipulator looked confused, concerned, absolutely certain of their version. And everyone else in the group, who hadn't been there, looked at Michael like maybe he was the one who was wrong. Michael felt himself waver. Maybe he was wrong. Maybe he'd misunderstood. Maybe his memory was faulty. He let it go. That was the test. Over the next 2 years, the manipulators systematically rewrote reality. Conversations that had never happened. Things Michael knew for certain were denied. His feelings were dismissed as overreactions to things that supposedly never occurred. Michael started keeping notes, recording conversations, desperately trying to hold onto what was real. His friends thought he was paranoid. His family thought he was obsessed. The manipulator told everyone that Michael was unstable, that they were worried about him, that his paranoia was causing problems. And people believed them because the manipulator seemed so normal, so concerned, so rational. By the time Michael extracted himself from the relationship, he didn't know what was real anymore. He didn't trust his own mind. That's what happens when someone targets your reality confidence. That's gaslighting in its purest, most destructive form. And it started with a 7-second test to see if Michael could be made to doubt himself. So let that sink in. Right now, think about the people you've met recently. The new coworker. The person at the gym who struck up a conversation. The friend of a friend who seemed so interested in your life. Were they just being friendly? Or were they running an assessment? How did you present yourself in those first 7 seconds? Did you show weak boundaries by agreeing too quickly to something? Did you show emotional reactivity by getting flustered or eager? Did you reveal insecurity through your body language? Did you mention being new, being alone, being in transition? Did you seek their approval a little too enthusiastically? Did you take responsibility for their comfort? Did you doubt yourself when they tested your reality? Because here's the truth that no one wants to hear. You've been assessed. You've been scanned. And if you have these vulnerabilities, if you showed these signals, someone has already cataloged them. Someone already knows how to manipulate you. They might not use it today. They might not use it this month. But they know. And they're waiting for the moment when they need something from you. Your mind is not entirely your own. But here's what shifts the power. Awareness. Knowledge. Understanding the game means you can refuse to play. So let's talk about protection. Let's talk about how you become someone that manipulators see as too difficult, too aware, too strong to be worth their time. Because that's possible. That's absolutely possible. You don't have to be a victim. You don't have to be a target. You can be someone that predators look at for 7 seconds and walk away from. Let me tell you how. First, you have to build real boundaries. Not the kind you apologize for. Not the kind you explain and justify. Real boundaries that you enforce calmly and consistently. Practice saying no without offering excuses. No, that doesn't work for me. No, I'm not available for that. No, I'm not comfortable with that. No explanation. No apology. Just no. Watch what happens. Most people will respect it. Manipulators will test it. They'll ask why. They'll push back. They'll make you feel like you're being unreasonable. This is the moment that matters. If you hold firm, if you don't justify or defend, they'll move on to an easier target. If you cave, if you start explaining and negotiating, they know they've got you. Boundaries aren't about being mean or cold. They're about respecting yourself enough to decide what you will and won't accept. Start small. Practice with low-stakes situations. Build that muscle. Because people who have strong boundaries, people who say no calmly and don't budge, they're almost impossible to manipulate. Second, you have to manage your emotional reactivity. This doesn't mean becoming cold or shutting down your feelings. It means creating space between stimulus and response. When someone says something that triggers you, that makes you feel defensive or hurt or angry, pause. Breathe. Don't react immediately. Manipulators thrive on your emotional reactions because reactions can be predicted and controlled. Responses, though, responses that come from a calm, centered place, those are much harder to manipulate. Practice this. When someone tries to provoke you, notice the feeling but don't act on it right away. When someone tries to make you feel guilty, acknowledge the emotion but don't let it dictate your behavior. This is how you take back power. This is how you stop being a puppet that dances when someone pulls your strings. The more you can stay calm in the face of emotional manipulation, the less useful you are to manipulators. Third, you have to build genuine confidence. Not the kind that comes from what others think of you. The kind that comes from knowing yourself, accepting yourself, and not needing external validation to feel whole. This is work. Real work. It means confronting the insecurities you've been carrying. It means healing the wounds that make you desperate for approval. It means getting comfortable with the idea that not everyone will like you, and that's okay. People with real confidence aren't trying to convince anyone of their worth. They just know it. And that knowing makes them nearly immune to manipulation because manipulators can't use validation as a weapon against someone who doesn't need it. If someone's approval doesn't matter to you, they can't control you with it. If someone's disapproval doesn't crush you, they can't threaten you with it. Build yourself up from the inside out until other people's opinions are just information, not identity. Fourth, strengthen your support system. Never let yourself become isolated. Keep people around you who know you well, who will tell you the truth, who will notice if something's off. Manipulators work best in isolation because there's no one to provide a reality check. If you have people who can say, "That doesn't sound like you," or "That person seems off," or "I'm worried about how this relationship is changing you," you have protection. Make time for these relationships. Nurture them. Be honest with them. Let them see the real you so they can spot when you're changing in unhealthy ways. And listen to them. When people who love you express concern, don't dismiss it. Don't defend the manipulator. At least consider that they might be seeing something you're too close to see. Community is protection. Connection is strength. Don't ever let someone cut you off from the people who anchor you to reality. Fifth, learn to trust your gut. Your intuition is a powerful tool that's constantly scanning for danger, constantly picking up on inconsistencies, constantly trying to keep you safe. But most of us have been taught to ignore it, to rationalize it away, to prioritize politeness over protection. Stop doing that. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If someone makes you uncomfortable for reasons you can't quite articulate, pay attention to that. If a story doesn't add up, if behavior doesn't match words, if you feel like you're being tested or played, you probably are. Your subconscious mind is processing thousands of signals that your conscious mind isn't aware of. When it sends up a red flag, don't talk yourself out of it. Don't give people the benefit of the doubt at the expense of your own safety. Trust yourself. Believe your own experience. Stand firm in your reality even when someone tries to convince you you're wrong. Sixth, keep your life private, especially early in relationships. Don't overshare. Don't lay all your vulnerabilities out in the first few conversations with someone new. Manipulators use the information you give them to build their strategy. The more they know about your insecurities, your fears, your past traumas, your current struggles, the more ammunition they have. Save deep personal sharing for people who have earned your trust over time, people who have proven themselves safe. Early on, keep things surface level. Be friendly but guarded. Watch how people respond to boundaries, to small tests, to you saying no. Let them show you who they are before you give them access to who you are. Seventh, document things. If you're in a relationship or situation that feels off, keep records. Save text messages. Write down conversations. Note when things happen. This isn't paranoia. This is protection. Because if someone is gaslighting you, if they're rewriting history, if they're manipulating your perception of reality, documentation is your anchor. It's proof. It's evidence that you're not crazy, that things did happen the way you remember. And if you ever need to get out, if you ever need to explain to others what happened, you'll have receipts. Manipulators rely on confusion and doubt. Clear records eliminate both. Your mind is not entirely your own, but it can be. That's the point. That's the goal. Taking back your mind. Taking back your power. Understanding that manipulation only works if you don't see it. And now you see it. Think about this. Every technique I've described, every vulnerability manipulators look for, you've experienced. Maybe not all of them. Maybe not severely. But you've been tested. You've been assessed. You've been targeted at some level by someone at some point. This isn't about making you paranoid. This is about making you aware. Because awareness is the first line of defense. When you know what to look for, when you understand the patterns, when you recognize the tests, you can't be played the same way. You become dangerous to predators not because you're aggressive or hostile, but because you see through their tactics. You don't fall for the charm. You don't take the bait. You don't doubt yourself when they try to rewrite reality. You're awake. And here's the most important thing I can tell you. If you recognize yourself in these victim stories, if you're realizing that someone in your life has been using these tactics on you, you're not weak. You're not stupid. You're not broken. You're human. These manipulation tactics work because they exploit normal human needs and normal human psychology. Wanting connection, wanting approval, wanting to trust people, these aren't flaws. These are features of being a healthy, empathetic person. The flaw is in the people who weaponize these natural human needs. The problem is not that you were vulnerable. The problem is that someone saw your vulnerability and chose to exploit it rather than honor it. But now you know. Now you understand. And knowledge changes everything. You can't unknow what you know now. You can't unsee the patterns. From this moment forward, when someone tests your boundaries, you'll recognize it. When someone tries to trigger your emotions to control you, you'll see it. When someone attempts to isolate you or make you doubt reality, you'll know what's happening. And you'll have choices you didn't have before. You'll have power you didn't know you could access. So here's what I want you to do. Right now, in this moment, think about your relationships. All of them. The romantic ones, the friendships, the family connections, the work relationships. Ask yourself these questions. Who makes you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells? Who makes you doubt your own memory or perception regularly? Who has isolated you from other people in your life? Who uses your guilt against you? Who gives and withdraws affection in unpredictable patterns? Who makes you feel like you're never good enough no matter what you do? Who tests your boundaries repeatedly even after you've set them? These are the relationships that need your attention. These are the people who might be manipulating you. And I know what you're thinking. But they love me. But they need me. But I can help them. But it's not that bad. But I'm probably overreacting. So, listen to yourself. Those thoughts, that doubt, that rationalization, that's part of the manipulation. That's how it works. You deserve relationships where you feel safe to be yourself. Where your reality is respected. Where your boundaries are honored. Where your emotions aren't used as weapons against you. Where you're valued for who you are, not for what you can give. That's not too much to ask. That's the baseline. And anything less than that is not love, not friendship, not family loyalty. It's manipulation dressed up as relationship. And you have the right to walk away from it. 7 seconds. That's all it takes for a predator to assess you. But it takes much longer to free yourself from their grip once they've established control. So don't wait. Don't make excuses. Don't give them more time to dig deeper into your psyche. If you recognize the patterns, if you see the manipulation, act on it. Set boundaries. Seek support. Distance yourself. Get out. Whatever you need to do to protect yourself, do it. Because your mind, your reality, your sense of self, these are not negotiable. These are not things you sacrifice for anyone, no matter how much they claim to love you, no matter how much they make you feel responsible for them. Your mind is not entirely your own. That phrase has echoed through this entire conversation. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to stay that way. You can reclaim it. You can rebuild it. You can fortify it against future attacks. Every boundary you set is a wall. Every time you trust your gut is a guard. Every moment you choose yourself over someone's manipulation is a victory. Slow, difficult, painful victories sometimes. But victories nonetheless. You're listening to this for a reason. Maybe someone sent it to you. Maybe you stumbled across it. Maybe you were searching for answers to questions you couldn't quite articulate. Whatever brought you here, it means some part of you knows something's wrong. Some part of you is trying to wake up, to see clearly, to get free. Listen to that part. Honor it. Protect it. Because that's the part of you that knows the truth even when everything else is confused. So here's my final question for you. Now that you know what psychopaths notice about you in 7 seconds, now that you understand how manipulators assess and exploit vulnerabilities, now that you see the patterns and the tactics and the traps, what are you going to do? Are you going to go back to pretending you don't know? Are you going to keep giving people the benefit of the doubt when your gut says run? Are you going to keep sacrificing yourself for relationships that are destroying you? Or are you going to choose differently? Are you going to set boundaries? Are you going to trust yourself? Are you going to demand better? Are you going to walk away from the people who see you as a target instead of a person? You're awake now. And you can't go back to sleep. You can try to ignore what you know, but it will keep surfacing, keep nagging at you, keep showing you the truth you're trying to avoid. So don't ignore it. Use it. Let this knowledge be the thing that saves you. Let it be the thing that transforms you from a potential victim into someone who cannot be played. Because that's what you are now if you choose to be. Someone who sees through the charm to the strategy beneath. Someone who recognizes tests and refuses to take them. Someone who knows their worth and won't let anyone convince them otherwise. Someone dangerous to predators not through aggression but through awareness. They'll still try, some of them. They'll still run their 7-second assessment. They'll still look for your weaknesses. But when they look at you, they'll see someone different now. They'll see strong boundaries. They'll see emotional control. They'll see confidence. They'll see community. They'll see someone who trusts themselves. And they'll move on to an easier target. Because manipulators are, if nothing else, efficient. They don't waste time on people who see them coming. So stand in your power. Own your awareness. Protect your mind like the precious, irreplaceable thing it is. And remember, always remember, that the people who truly care about you will never make you feel the way manipulators do. They'll never need to test your boundaries because they'll respect them naturally. They'll never use your emotions against you because they value your well-being. They'll never isolate you because they want you to have a full, rich life. They'll never make you doubt reality because they're committed to honesty. Real love, real friendship, real connection, it doesn't require manipulation. It doesn't need tactics. It just is. You know what they notice about you in 7 seconds. Now make sure what they notice is someone they can't touch. Someone they can't use. Someone who belongs entirely to themselves. Your mind is your own. Claim it. Guard it. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. You're awake now. And they hate that.